You've been calling it self-care. It's self-burial. How long have you been comfortable? Here's what I need you to understand right now. That thing you've been doing, the routine that feels safe, the pattern that feels like you, the comfort zone you've defended as healthy boundaries, it's not protecting your identity. It's replacing it. You think the problem is that you're not growing fast enough, that you need one more morning routine, one more productivity system, one more breakthrough. But that's not what's eating at you in the quiet moments. What's eating at you is that you can't remember the last time you recognized yourself. You look in the mirror and you see someone reasonable, someone manageable, someone small. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. But here's what he understood that we've forgotten. It's not just your thoughts that dye your soul. It's your choices. And every time you choose comfort over truth, every time you choose ease over expansion, you're not just staying the same. You're becoming someone else, someone smaller, someone you never agreed to be. The comfort zone isn't neutral territory. It's not a rest stop. It's a slow transformation chamber, and you've been inside so long you don't notice the walls moving in anymore. You feel it, though. That's why you're here. You feel the gap between who you know you're supposed to be and who you're becoming. And the terrifying part isn't that the gap exists. The terrifying part is that the gap is getting easier to live with. You've started making peace with it. You've started justifying it. By the end of this, you'll know exactly why your identity keeps slipping away from you even when you're trying to improve. And you'll know the one thing the Stoics did differently that made them unmovable. Let me tell you about Cade Brennan, not the version you'd meet today, the one with the angular jaw and that scar on his left cheekbone that tells you he's been somewhere real. I'm talking about the version from 6 years ago, the comfortable version. Cade had a good job, marketing director, made decent money, had a nice apartment, worked out 3 times a week, meditated sometimes, read the right books. From the outside, he looked like he had it together. From the inside, he was disappearing. He came to me because he couldn't shake this feeling. He described it as watching himself in third person, going through motions, saying yes to things he didn't mean, laughing at jokes that weren't funny, agreeing to plans he didn't want. Small stuff. Comfort stuff. Nothing worth fighting about. But here's what he told me in our third session that changed everything. He said, I used to have this thing I'd do when I was younger. Someone would say something I disagreed with, something that violated what I believed, and I'd feel this heat in my chest, this clarity. And I'd speak up, not aggressively, just clearly. I'd say the true thing, and afterwards I'd feel solid, real, like I'd just proven to myself I existed. He paused. Then he said, I can't remember the last time I felt that heat. That's when I knew we weren't dealing with a productivity problem. We were dealing with identity erosion. See, Cade had slowly, reasonably, intelligently optimized his life for comfort. He'd learned to avoid conflict, to smooth over edges, to be agreeable, to not rock the boat. And every single time he made that choice, every single time, he swallowed the truth thing and said the easy thing instead. He deposited a little more of himself into a vault he couldn't access anymore. The Stoics had a concept they returned to again and again. Your ruling principle, your hegemonicon. It's not your personality. It's not your preferences. It's the part of you that decides, the part that chooses, the command center of your soul. And here's what Marcus Aurelius understood that we've forgotten. If you don't exercise your ruling principle, if you don't use it to make hard choices, it atrophies. It doesn't just stay dormant. It gets replaced by whatever's most comfortable, by consensus, by convenience, by whatever keeps the peace. Cade thought he was being mature, strategic, picking his battles. But what he was actually doing was teaching the self that his own judgment was negotiable, That the heat in his chest, that signal that something true needed to be said, was something to manage and suppress, rather than honor and express. I asked him one question. When was the last time you did something that scared you for no other reason than it was true to who you are? He couldn't answer. That's the moment. Right there. That's when we both realized his comfort zone wasn't protecting him. It was erasing him. We spent the next 6 months doing something specific, not building new habits, not optimizing routines. We identified moments, specific recurring moments where Cade felt that heat, that signal that something true wanted to come through him. And we practiced not betraying it, speaking up in meetings when he disagreed, saying no to plans that drained him, ending relationships that required him to be smaller. Small acts, terrifying acts, identity-defining acts. And here's what happened. With each choice that honored his ruling principle instead of his comfort, Cade reported feeling more solid, more real, more like himself, like he was re-inhabiting his own body. That scar on his cheekbone, that came from one of those choices. A boxing match he had absolutely no business taking, but he needed to know he could still do something that required him to be brave. He lost a match, won himself back. Here's your one thing. Tomorrow, you're going to feel that heat. That moment where something true wants to come through you and something comfortable wants to suppress it. It might be in a conversation, a decision, a moment where you're about to say yes, but you mean no when you feel it. And you will feel it. Speak the true thing, not the comfortable thing, the true thing. Even if your voice shakes, especially if your voice shakes. That's how you reclaim your ruling principle. Not with a morning routine, with a moment of courage that tells your soul you still live here. You're not who you think you are. The next video proves it.